So, good day to all of you. I'm now going to tell you the the what I'm going to talk about. We are now in Das Buddhist Teacher House, 5th of February 2023. Why is the mindfulness central teachings of Buddha? So I can start in a very small way. Siddhartha Gautama became Buddha. Siddhartha Gautama became Buddha not by praying to God. He became Buddha by using mindfulness. Let's go back to the purpose of the Dhamma. See, what is the purpose of the Dhamma? There's something called Dhamma taught by the Buddha. The purpose of the Dhamma is not to harm anybody, to do good things and get your mind regulated, not controlled, regulated. So that is the purpose of the Dhamma. Now we can look at all other religions that is existing in our time. You have Islam, you have Catholics, you have Protestant, you have Hindus. All these religions have the central point as God. Central point is God. One say most powerful Allahu Akbar, yeah, then most powerful God, and everything is concerned a person called God. Now in the Dhamma, mindfulness, but do you really know what is mindfulness? The question is, why do you want to you have a spoon, right? Do you know why do you use a spoon? To drink a soup, right? Or to make a curry. So you have a car to go. So when you come to Buddha, he says use mindfulness in order to liberate the mind. See, that's the difference between going to God is a heaven. Heaven is a thing that the mind, you have never been there, but you have imagination of a heaven. So you make an imagination of the heavens, but you want to go there. But you don't use mindfulness to go to heaven. You have 10 commandments, right? Not to do bad things. But in the Dhamma, you have mindfulness. And then mindfulness compared to not to harm anybody. So, I want to harm you, right? If I want to harm you, I must have a hand that can hit you or a mouth that can scold you, right? To tell bad things about you. That is harming a person. Then there's another thing. I'm giving friendship, I'm giving confidence, I'm giving compassion to you, and then get your mind regulated. That is the purpose of the Dhamma. There's no, in the Dhamma, there's not one sentence saying, I want to go to heaven. What the Dhamma does is get your greed, hatred, and delusion away. So once the hatred and delusion is away, it says of a mental freedom of the Panya Vimukti. The mind is free to go to heaven. So no burden on the mind. And this is a present moment attitude. Nirvana is a present moment thing, not after you die. Because Buddha was 35 years when he achieved Nirvana. So 35 years, up to 8 years he lived, but he was already in Nirvana. So it's a here and now situation. So the purpose I said earlier, never to harm anybody, do good things, get your mind regulated so that the mind does not become a slave to the sense pleasures or not only pleasure, you have pain. So the mind is belasted, is a burden. Mind is burden. Mind is running after pleasure. So you have to work. So the mind is already burdened. What we want is what the Buddha said was get your mind liberated. Panya vimukti. Panya means wisdom. Vimukti means liberated. It is liberated also for wisdom. So Buddha takes wisdom on the or the reality, those are synonyms, in order to cross the ufa. Ufa means from one beach to another beach. But you don't take the boat with you. So that's why Buddha once said, even this precious Dhamma is non existing in Nirvana. So, Dhamma, you use it, right, as a boat from one corner to another corner. But in Nirvana, there's no I to go into Nirvana. Right? I is a concept of the mind. What is reality? What is reality? Reality means everything is subject to change. Everything is changing all the time. You were years old, you were 10 years old. So if you look at yourself and your photos, changing is taking place. But you are combining when you are 60 years to 5 years by a memory. Memory is a concept based on persons, Gegenstände, articles that you have been associating with, putting my article, my. So compare now with other religions. Okay, other religions, when you are a Catholic, Hindu, Muslim, or anything, you have a imaginary God. Nobody has gone and come back and said, I was there. By nirvana, you dissolve yourself. There's no continuity after that. Very, very interesting thing. So we use mindfulness. All of us must have a proper realization of mindfulness. All good and bad is made in the body and mind. Do you agree with me? If I hit you, I need a body and mind. If I nurse you, I need a body and mind, right? So all good and bad, wisdom, foolishness, everything is happening from head to toe. Buddha said it. When Buddha was living, there were 63 or 64 some religions. And Buddha specially said this Dhamma does not belong to the Dhamma, what he discovered, does not belong to a religion. It is based on awareness factors, right? We call it samatha, then vipassana, and so on. But people are used to run after religions. People are used to run after gods. They have never met, but they still run, right? So we have to know about it. I am sympathetic. There are so many people, my experience in life, people who have not achieved much in life. They don't have a nice wife or a nice man. They don't have a nice family. Neither they have a nice job. Those people, not only the Buddhist temple, they go to the churches and everything. Oh, God is with me. Oh, God is with me. Right now, I am one of the guys who was forced to believe in a God by my mother, because we went to, when I was over 8, 9 years old, we went to a place called Katragama, and there were gods. So there were God. So because of the mother is there telling about the God, then there are bells. ringing, then there's drumming, and you think, oh, this is because you can't still think on your own, right? You're dependent on your mother and father's explanations about the outside world. So you're thinking, oh, let me go. But for my luck, I always had doubt in this God, because when I was young, I was thinking, why did the God give Adam and Eve freedom to eat the apple? See, this is a very funny thing, Say I am God, right? I make Adam and Eva, and I make them. And when I make them, I know how smart they are, omnipotence and all. And then they are hungry. I put an apple and say, please do not eat the apple. If you eat, we are in trouble. Now they have eaten the apple. So we are in trouble, right? So at that time, when I was about 9, 10 years old, I was asking and swallowing my knowledge, not telling everybody, because God is something precious. So I thought, how foolish is God to give freedom to his own creation, who does not know what is not to obey the God, right? And they are hungry also. See,
I was reading a book about this thing that it's very contradictory, the
yes,
Bible,
yes,
Genesis,
yes,
and that it was more a symbolic symbol, this apple, that they should not eat from the tree of erkenntnis, of wisdom, and I think it was more symbolically meant that are not should not ask too much with the ratio,
mm.
but more with the instinct.
Now I will come to that. I will come to that. See, like me being young and taking the Bible, but then I had also fear from God whom I had never met.
Plus, it's bad pedagogics. If you tell somebody don't play with the fire, then it makes it more interesting. They will play with
Yeah,
the
yeah.
fire.
But anyway, I wanted to explain to you in my experience, right? That's why I'm seated here. I was arguing with my Christian friends, whom I used to play cricket and so on, about God. But I went to the church, or there on the top of our lane there was a church, and you see, so at that time I was small and not matured. I was fighting for Buddhism, which itself is wrong.
What you mean itself is wrong.
Buddha never made Buddhism. Buddha made Dhamma. So 170 years later, you see, if I lied to you once, right, I had to lie 10 times in order to keep that lie. I won't get caught. So something like this happened to me. So I was confused, right? Because I believe in Buddhism, and I am a Buddhist, and I don't like the Christians and the Muslims, or the, you see, because they belong to another religion. But actually, this was never done by the Buddha.
Mm.
That's why I said, if I lie once, I had to lie 10 times. But you see, very unfortunately, I am not frightened to talk about my mistakes,
Mhm. Yeah,
because
there were 48 authors who were taking the Bible apart, and they said it's very contradictory and very difficult to understand because some of them as lied or taken
yeah,
away
now listen to this. You see,
from the Bible.
giving explanations about the Bible, how correct the Bible is, I'll come to that.
Mm.
But here is a person called Siddhartha Gautama who became Buddha, and after the Buddha started talking about the Dhamma for 45 years, there's no mental speculation. Correct, direct. But we converted the Dhamma into Buddhism. So we have 5 different sorts of Buddhism, or 10 different sorts of Buddhism. Now, same situation happened to me. I was not worried about the Dhamma or Buddhism. I
Maybe,
was
maybe that is meant with the apple, the erkenntnis. The more people try to do with the
no, no.
ratio,
I will come to that. I
the
told
more
you.
they
No, no, I
will
will tell you.
divide.
I will come to that very correctly.
Mm.
Right now, I am telling other Buddhists, don't follow Buddhism. I'm looking after this thing, because I was four years meditating. When you meditate, you read the book that has no language called body and mind. So your common sense must be able to know I hit you, body and mind can hit. I nurse you, body and mind. So good man and the bad man is in the body and mind. Foolish man and the intelligent man and the wise man is in body and mind. So you have to use the body and mind under the with a magnifying glass. This is what is called mindfulness. I will come to the Bible, what you're talking about, right? Now we are talking about the Bible, right? The Bible is supposed to be 3,500 years old, where the Old Testament is there. Okay, the New Testament is about 1,500 years after that, 2,000 years, or is Constantinople or Istanbul that was written. Now, there's one, two, three questions, fundamental questions you have to ask. When the Old Testament is supposed to be, I don't believe it, but anyway, I'm talking about this. Old Testament is God's own words given to Abraham, Moses. Then we should not have our new version, because you're going against the God's word. Then there are certain things that the Bible cannot be accepted. World is flat. The Bible says the world is flat. And Galileo, I think Galileo also, who said it, he was put into an inquisition. You know what is the inquisition? The court of the church was killed. He had to take poison. But he was right. Church is wrong. So now we don't go to the church and say, you're wrong. So then Adam and Eva was made, right? Now we know it is bacteria is our forefather, our yeah. So how many things wrong in the Bible, and how many times do we tolerate a person who is telling wrong things? That is very important. Even if I am wrong, you must say, "Though this we can't because we don't." And then I will try to explain.
I think it's difficult also when you say don't do the wrong thing, don't hurt nobody. Sometimes people are oversensitized
Yeah.
and
No,
you're
no.
friendly to
I'm
them.
talking about Malu. I'm talking about a prince.
Can I say explain that
Yeah.
please? Like because it's on my heart. Like last weekend I was singing and there was a woman, she introduced herself or she was just talking in the room, oh I have Weimar. And I was very happy and friendly and I was saying, oh yeah, I was reading about Dr. Petra Bach and it helped many people with Weimar. And she started screaming and yelling and I didn't hurt her. I was just talking
No,
about
you
suggestions.
see, you're telling about the experience. I'm putting things in a form of
No, but
questions.
she was hurt, even
No,
though
no,
I was
I
meaning for
understand,
her.
but you're telling about a experience of it.
I didn't
Why?
hurt her.
No,
She claims she's
the
been
the
hurt.
the topic Manu, topic I'm talking is why is the central teachings of the Buddha is mindfulness. So let me explain about mindfulness. You're telling about your own experience, right? I am
No,
telling about my
I
own
mean
experience.
interpretation, because some people say, "Oh, you hurt me," and the other was, "No, I did not
No,
hurt
we
you."
can
It was like,
under that circumstances you can say Bible is correct, because
"No, I'm not."
Moses. No, wait a minute. I am just you see, I am very direct to you. There's a person called Moses. He says his own experience. Then the others follow, and then sometimes they say no, Old Testament is wrong, the New Testament is right. In the New Testament it says world is flat, Adam and Eve is there. So we argue and we say your own experience, but Buddha's experience is different. Buddha asks you to go into body and mind. So when I explain about mindfulness, there's disturbance coming from the people who have met little. So I go direct. Other monks they say, how do you do? Yes, he say, oh, poor. I don't do that. I direct come to the point and slash it out. Right. So your attitude is disturbing the Dhamma talk today, because you're telling a experience that you had 1 week ago with a woman. Yes, I'm not talking about that. You're going to do I hit you, I'm a bad man. I nurse you, I'm a good man. So the mindfulness is able to detect the cause for hitting and cause for this thing. So Dhamma, the purpose of the Dhamma is not to harm anybody and to do good things. For that you use mindfulness.
But some people, their interpretation is so different. Some people say it's good that my father was hitting me because I was too stubborn. You know what I mean?
No, no, we can no, Manu, from 5 years of age up to today, we can talk about you and your experience. Your father
No,
said it
I
like
mean in
this.
general. I mean in
Yes, then
general.
I can't talk.
That
I can't do the Dhamma talk. Because every time you will be sending something. Yesterday was that woman, before that was the father. So I have to keep the Dhamma talk away and only deal with you. And then you say, well, I don't want to come to the temple because I get attacked. But if you bring out nonsense, you have to get attacked. I can't agree with you when you're talking nonsense, but for you it is not nonsense. But the theme, I'm talking about the theme, or you can sit there and do the Dhamma talk.
I can't follow you with the English.
I know that you can't follow
No,
me.
with the English is this.
No, not the English. It's neither the German. It is just your reaction towards the Dhamma talk. You see, that's why that's what this is happening to the Buddha. The Buddha made Dhamma. 2000, our 140 years later, it became Buddhism. So if you have Buddhism, you can't see the Dhamma. Dhamma is non-cultural and non-religious, like physics and chemistry. So the theme is, why did the Buddha make the mindfulness as central teachings of the Buddha? So now I'm going to say something about the mindfulness. First of all, I said, I hit you, I nurse you. So the mindfulness detects have four parts: body awareness, feeling awareness, mind awareness, and mental coming. So under body awareness, there are certain parts, right? But you're breathing in and out, right? Buddha also breathed in and out. Hitler also breathed in and out. So you have sitting, standing, walking, and sleeping. Then you have a consciousness in the body. Then there are 32 parts coming out of the body: cough, hair, wimpern. This is a scientific approach that the Buddha gave 2600 years ago. But if you go to other religions, say Muslim, Christianity, or anything, say God said this. The Buddha doesn't say, I said it. He's asking you to use mindfulness to come to know yourself. It's a big difference, huge difference. Buddha is not saying you're like this, you're like this. But when he says under the mindfulness, body awareness. So body awareness means breathing in and out, sitting, standing, going. So under this, you come to know how it is. So very interesting, impartial. He's asking you to then at the same time, purpose of the Dhamma, don't forget, never to harm anybody and to do good things. So when people come, now I am 22 years in this Buddhist house. So many people have come, so many meditation retreats are there. I would like to see somebody who's, ah, it's been okay, right? So that is the purpose of the temple and purpose of the Dhamma. See, so that's why I gave example. I lie once, and then I have to lie 10 times. So the I will tell you a nice thing that is going to. I earn money for myself. I do invent things, and I'm happy thinking that this money is very good for me, right? But my own money, I can't look at it and say, oh, I am 1 million, I'm 2.5 million, 3 million, 4 million rich. It becomes dull. Okay. But if I have my money, enjoying it with friends, eating, drinking, going for football uh, or a picnic, then I enjoy it, right? So the Buddha who said, use your mindfulness to liberate your mind. Now, you have to fathom out the liberation of the mind and mental freedom, right? Liberation, mental freedom compared to friendship. Everything that I explain is a concept. Everything what I observe is reality. So everything what I observe has in many parts. I can observe you, the ears can hear, nose can smell. These are under one rule. All these things. So if you are convinced experiential knowledge, then you don't hang on to feelings. Now, if you hang on to feelings, there starts the problem because you're blocking another feeling coming to you. You have eaten, right? You have taken a drink, you are singing or something like that. So you let go the feeling. It is going on its own. You don't have to say the uh, banana, hey, now let go. Moment you swallow it in, the banana feeling is gone. Now, knowing this is called mindfulness. That is why Buddha made it the central point. It is awareness of body and mind and its behavior. But at the same time, I must tell you, we always go to school, right? We start with kindergarten. We are trained to believe books that we read. Then the next thing is we are trained to get a man or a woman for sexual satisfaction and partnership. Buddha is talking about friendship, kalyana mitra, precious friend, to give what you have, share your meal with another person, and enjoy life. Enjoy life by not clinging. Clinging means unhaften. In German, you call it other. So you see, the point is now I always tell to my other people, you must speak to my class kamerad, klassen kamerad. Na? Did you see Tissa reading a book? Then did I pass any exams? I have not passed any exam. Then how do I drive the car? How do I cook? So this is mindfulness. Your behavior pattern, I look at you, how you behave. So at a certain time, I come to know this woman is like this, the other woman is like this. So you use the mindfulness. The Buddha is teaching us how to be mindfulness about yourself, having two components, mind and body. Once you know yourself, they know yourself also. Principles are the same. You see, the light sends pictures to your eye. The mindfulness knows, aha, because if it is dark, I can't see you, you can't see me. So this is mindfulness. But what we have done, always meditate, meditate, meditate. There are people who meditate, but let's look at Buddha. Buddha said, take me as an example to know the Dhamma, take the Dhamma as an example to know me. So there's a person called Siddhartha Gautama. He became Buddha. After he became Buddha, what did he do? He was walking 600 kilometers all over. And the Buddha said, from head to toe, there are 32 worlds. Devaloka, Saptaloka, Manusaloka, Brahmaloka. These are loka means world, right? These are mental conditions. I know you didn't understand. You see, you have a head, you have a foot.
Mhm.
Between head and foot is your body. So Buddha says there are 32 worlds, 32 worlds. Brahma Loka means Schöpferische Geist. Deva Loka, göttliche Geist. Sattva Loka, human beings, right? Devaloka, Brahmaloka, Peretaloka, Spencer, ghost.
Mhm.
All these are from head to toe.
They're inside you.
They inside you. I am getting angry with you, right? I hit you, then I am a devil. I am getting friendly with you, and I give you, then I am a deva. So literally the monks as plus so many people could not put this Buddha's teachings because they bought in Buddhism.
Mhm.
This happened, in like the Bible for the Christians, like the Quran for the Muslims or the Islam. There's what is called Tripitaka, three books.
Mhm.
After the Buddha died, they made these three books. One is the Reda. Reda means the talks, Dhamma talks the Buddha gave. Then uh, discipline codex, how to get yourself disciplined. Then Abhidhamma Pitaka is the psychology of of the mind, right? Now, I will tell you certain things. The first 30 years of Buddha, the first 30 years, or 20 years, he didn't have one single discipline codex. No one, not one. Don't eat in the morning or eat, not one. Only after 20 years, he started introducing because when the problems propped up. And there's another magic in Buddha's teachings. It's really a magic.
Since it was after he went away or within his life
No,
after
within
20
his
years.
life, for the first,
Uh,
you become Buddha, right? So for the first 20 years, no discipline
okay.
codex, nothing. He said you have to live like this. No, only after 20 years he bought in,
He did it.
he did it, right? Okay. Now, coming back to that Bible and Islam, there's a book called, Dhamma Talks, then uh, Discipline Codex, Vinaya Pitaka, then Abhidhamma Pitaka, how the mind works. Now, all this, what Buddha explained, all these things, there's no one word about belief. If you take the Bible, believe, 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 believe. If you take the Quran, believe, 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 believe. And if you ask them, Jesus or somebody, they say, I'm the Son of God. I don't know where Jesus said it. Then when he was dying, I think he said, uh, Lama 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 Sabastani or something. Why, my God, why whom have you forgotten me? Right? Now, something like that doesn't exist in the Buddha's teachings. All awareness, 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 awareness. Non cultural, non religious. So, that is very important for then for the same subject, no two different explanations. In the Buddha's, if you want to feel honey, if you want to smell a nice fragrance from a book, your nose can do it, and you know what is this knowledge is called experiential knowledge. So you have to use not logical knowledge, experiential knowledge. There's a thing called Kalama Sutra, where the Buddha says, "Don't believe because it belongs to the to the tradition." Then it says, "Don't believe because it is the fashion of the day that everybody believes like that. Don't believe." Then it says, "Don't believe because it sounds logical." And now comes the most important thing. Don't believe when you do something that benefits you, other person. Don't believe. If you do something benefits you, don't believe. If you do something, the other person and you both gets benefits, then continue to do that. See how nicely thought and placed. So this is written, all these books, and say one wisdom is overtaking the other wisdom, but we still have a problem. We don't know how to use it because we are used to believe. When we don't know, only we can believe. So we know we don't believe. So what did the Buddha said? So Buddha gave a mm, guidelines. The guidelines that it was given, I'm going to tell you what are the guidelines. First of all, you give a dana. Dana means generosity. I give you a cup of tea, say in euro or the blues. So connection is there, personal connection. Then the not to kill, not to take other people's things, not to put pressure on Beziehungen, how do you say Beziehungen? Relationship, not to put pressure. Don't lie and don't take. Now, these two faculties, the giving, generosity, and these thing faculties are fulfilled, then go to meditation. But meditation is not every day you sit and you can look at Buddha. Where how many after he became Buddha till he died, how many times did he meditate? We have no evidence. One one or two times there were uh, occasions where he meditated. He meditated for 7 days, and there was a woman hit with lightning. Right. So the people came to Buddha and said, "Did you hear the lightning?" He said, "No." He said, "Were you dead?" He said, "No." Then they asked, "Were you alive?" He said, "No." So this is a situation like a fish getting frozen in the Atlantic, and then he starts swimming again. This is right. So the mind the can be kept. You go through meditation called uh, Nirodha Samapatti. Only 7 days you can stay, otherwise the body starts drying itself, right? So when you say to this Buddha, what is important to know, not one word he's asking, please believe me. He's asking, go to your body and mind through meditation. Observe, how do you see, how do you hear, sense contact. So what the Buddha is trying to explain to us, cut greed. But the feeling for cause for greed is a feeling you can't stop. Your eye, the nose, they are all active, but holding onto something, that is called clinging, that is called greed. So why, to be true to the subject, why did Buddha take mindfulness as his central reading? Is first to come to know yourself. You yourself can take the failure mistakes away. Not Buddha is pointing out to you and saying, you yourself knows. So that is the topic. So this is, we are giving personal experience, but we get personal experience and emotional. Buddha makes the personal experience and become a principle of how this situation came. See, there's a big difference, right? Personal experience becoming emotion, that is greed. Personal experience taking and become the principle, how our body and mind helps you to take the mistakes away. So Dhamma is here and now situation, here and now. You take the body and mind as your laboratory and your library, and know how the body and mind is function. Is very important. What I said earlier, from head to toe, all 32 worlds are in existence. Yeah. Yeah, you see, because at the time Buddha was there, there were 53 religions, and out of 53, everybody believed in a Shapvarisha God, creator God. So Buddha said the creator God is in your body, and he named Metta Sutra. Anybody who has friendship, Mitgefühl, Mitfreude, Gleichmut, friendliness, compassion, equanimity, and empathy. He is a Brahma. Buddha was very. So if you have friendship, if you have compassion, if you have empathy, and if you have Gleichmut, then you are also a Brahma. So Brahma is a Chapvarisha God. Brahma. Brahma is, Almighty God in English, right? That is Brahma, you know. So he very, because he didn't say there's no Brahma. He gave a different interpretation. Otherwise, the people become sensitive. Oh, Buddha, we will go against Buddha, right? So Buddha knew how to do these things. So follow mindfulness. Just one thing, if you want to know yourself, mindfulness, body awareness, feeling awareness, mind awareness, and mental formation awareness. That is the central point of the Buddha. So I will now stop the Dhamma talk, and then you can ask me questions. Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you. Bye bye. Okay. Now you can ask me questions. Yes. Yeah.